أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. We give thanks to Almighty Allah, we glorify His name, we ask for Allah's mercies and blessings upon the noble Prophet Muhammad, his household and his companions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge and to benefit us with what we learn. Ameen. Today, inshallah, we'll continue with our tafsir of Surah Al-Fatiha. So I'd like to begin today's tafsir with the recitation of the surah that we're actually um, going to do the tafsir of. So it goes, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. And it is said that after recitation, the Prophet ﷺ will say, anytime. So we begin the recitation by saying, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Then we said, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Now, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim is not part of the surah itself, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked us to say that anytime we're reciting the Quran. So Allah talks about invoking the words A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah means I seek refuge with you, with Allah. I seek refuge with Allah. Allah advises Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to say these words in different places in the Quran. One of such places is where Allah says, Khuzil afwa. Allah was advising the Prophet that to have a good character, you have to do these things. First, Khuzil afwa. Show forgiveness to people. Show forgiveness to people the same way that you wish Allah to forgive you. Think about how much wrongdoing you commit towards Allah every single time. And you have the effrontery to still face Allah to ask for forgiveness. The same way, when people act aggressively against you, people wrong you or people offend you, if they can seek forgiveness, show them forgiveness, show mercy. خُذِ الْعَفْوَ وَأَأْمُرْ بِالْعُرْفِ, and enjoin people to do what is right. Don't keep quiet. When you see something that is wrong and you have the ability to correct the person that is committing the wrong act, correct the person. That is part of a good character for you. Don't just ignore. وَأَعْرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ. And then Allah advised the Prophet and said, and turn away from the foolish people. Turn away from the foolish people. That is, in English parlance, we say, do not suffer fools. Don't punish them. Don't spend time worrying about them. Someone has done something out of foolishness. Don't spend time thinking about it or worrying about it. Just ignore such people. And then Allah continued and said, وَإِمَّا يَنْزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٌ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ إِنَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. And if the shaitan, if evil whispers come to you from the shaitan, يَنْزَغَنَّكَ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ نَزْغٌ. If evil whispers come to you from the shaitan, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ, and seek refuge with Allah. إِنَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ, because he is the all-hearing, the all-knowing. You see, shaitan, he can see you from where you cannot see him. The shaitan can come at you from any angle. Allah has described the shaitan as an eternal enemy of human beings. And he is invisible to us. However, he is visible to Allah. How do you fight something that is invisible? How do you fight an enemy, a sworn enemy that is invisible, that you cannot see? You don't know him. You don't know his weaknesses. You don't know how he acts. You don't know how he walks. But he sees you from everywhere. He knows how you think. He can influence your thoughts. He can influence your life. He can embed himself in your life. He can turn you around. He knows how you think. He knows how you walk. He sees you from where you cannot see. How do you defend against that person? You go to the one that can see him from where he cannot see that person. And that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because Shaytan, as much as he can see human beings, he knows our weaknesses, he knows us, and we cannot see him. Same way, he cannot see Allah, but Allah can see him. And Allah knows his weaknesses. And Allah has power over him and influence over him. Same influence that he uses over us, Allah has it over him also. That is why we know he's our enemy, but he's an enemy that we cannot overcome by ourselves. So we go to the one that can overcome him, who is Allah. That's why Allah advised the Prophet, whenever evil thoughts, evil whispers come to you from Shaytan, try to fight it by yourself. You can't win the Shaytan. فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ إِنَّهُ سَمِيعٌ عَلِيمٌ. Allah said, seek refuge with Allah. Anytime the Shaytan is trying to come near you, seek refuge with Allah. Don't try to do it by yourself. In another verse, this time Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 96. Allah said, again, Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 96. Allah said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, idfa billati iya ahsan. Idfa billati iya ahsanu sayyi'ata. Nahnu a'lamu bima yasifun. You see, when so here, let's talk about two types of shayateen. There's the shayateen al-insiyu and the shayateen al-jinni. There's the shayateen, the Satan amongst humans, and there's the shayateen amongst the jinns. The ones that you cannot see are the ones amongst the jinns. But the shaitan can possess a human being and use them against you in human form. That's a human shaitan. That person, remember, as human beings, inherently there is good in us. A human being can think like another human being and understand what they're going through, can have empathy. Human beings, we have our nature. There's good embedded in every human. Now, when a human is possessed by evil, by the shaitan, by the devil, the evil part of him will be more prominent, will show in his actions. So he'll be dealing with people with that evil part of him. However, inherently, he's still a good person by nature as a human being, the way that we are created as humans. So Allah taught the Prophet ﷺ, and by extension us, how to deal with these two kinds of enemies. The shaitan, again, is your enemy, even when he's in human form and when he's in jinn form. He's your enemy in any case, right? But you deal with them differently. But the one that you cannot see, that's in jinn form, seek refuge with Allah. But the one that you can see, hear what Allah said to the Prophet ﷺ. Yeah, Surah Al-Mu'minun, verse 96. Idfa billati iya ahsanu sayyi'atan. Repel evil from humans. Repel evil from humans with that which is better. Repel evil from humans with that which is better. That is, someone does harm to you. So do not retaliate with harm. Retaliate, or in a better way. Someone is abusing you, verbally assaulting you. Do not verbally assault the person back. Say something better to that person. Someone is saying vulgar words at you. Don't use vulgar words in return. Say better words. Oh, brother, may Allah forgive you. Oh, brother, may Allah grant you your wishes. Even though the person is abusing you. That is what Allah is advising the Prophet here. Idfa billati iya ahsanu sayyi'ata. Nahnu a'lamu bima yasif. Because the kuffar, they were saying bad things about the Prophet. They were spreading rumors about him, trying to destroy his reputation just so people don't follow him. Just so they can, steer people away from his path so they don't go to listen. They were saying bad things, hurtful things about him. And Allah said to him, Idfa billati iya ahsan sayyi'at. All of their evil deeds retaliate only with what is better. Na'nu a'lam bima yasifun. We know what they are talking about. We know what they are saying around. We know what they are passing around amongst them. We know. But you don't worry yourself about it. It's hurtful, yes. But don't respond from a place of hurt. Respond with what is better to them. And Allah said, in the continuation of that verse, ربي أعوذ بك من أمزات الشياطين وأعوذ بك من أن يحضرون, and say, my Lord, I seek refuge with you from the whisperings, from the suggestions of the Shaytan. And I seek refuge with you, my Lord, lest they should come near me. That is, see the two in the human form, the way that you fight against the Shaytan is to do that which is better. Don't go when they go low, don't go low with them. You go high. That is just what Allah is saying here. When they go low with you in human form, don't go low with them. You go high. And then, because in human form, they are still supported by the unseen ones. So while you are fighting the one in human form by doing good towards them, even while they are doing evil towards you, you have to remember to protect yourself against the one that is unseen. The one that is unseen can do it two ways. It's supporting the one in human form in one case, and it's going to come to you also and try to make sure that you don't take the high road. Try to make sure that you go down low with the human form. Because as soon as you go down low, you have lost. It's going to whisper to you. It's going to suggest to you, tell you you're weak. How can you let him get away with that? How can you let him talk to you like that? Is he not smaller than you? Are you not more powerful? Why don't you show him how powerful you are when indeed you have no power of your own? Why don't you show him that you own what you own when indeed you have nothing, you own nothing except that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills for you? So you seek refuge from Allah from the one that you cannot see, but from the one that you can see, you just do good towards them. In another surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Surah Fusilat, in Surah Fusilat, Allah said to the Prophet again, Idfa billati iya ahsan. Repel evil with that which is better. فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. When you repel evil with that which is better, a person that is your arch enemy will suddenly become like a bosom friend. Like there has never been enmity between you before. Such person can be converted into a friend. فَإِذَا الَّذِي بَيْنَكَ وَبَيْنَهُ عَدَاوَةٌ كَأَنَّهُ وَلِيٌّ حَمِيمٌ. If you repel evil with that which is better, you will see a person whom there is enmity between you. He'll suddenly become as though he was a close friend to you. Suddenly the person will like you. You see, this worked for the Prophet ﷺ a lot. And it will make sense when I continue reading it. Allah said, وَمَا يَلْقَاهَا إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا. No one will experience this, where you convert an enemy to a friend simply by doing good towards them in retaliation for the evil they are doing to you. No one would achieve this, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ صَبَرُوا, except those who are patient. It will require patience. So it's not just that somebody is doing evil to you, you are doing good to them in return. And then you are expecting that Shabi Allah said, somebody does evil and you do good to them, they will convert from enmity to your friend. No, Allah is saying no one can achieve this feat except those who are patient. وَمَا يَلْقَاهَا إِلَّا ذُو حَظٍّ عَظِيمٍ. And no one would achieve this except those people who have a great place with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. This will be someone of extremely good character that will be able to achieve this. So first of all, he is seeing someone doing evil to him, he's being nice to that person. And then he's being patient. That is, person, even though he's being nice to that person, the person consistently continues to do evil towards him. He continues also, because of his own good character, to do good towards that person, and in obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with patience. He never gets tired. The person that was doing evil is the one that gets tired at the end of the day and then comes to ask you, how have you been doing it? It's me that has been putting this. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there used to be a woman. When the Prophet would go to the masjid, the woman would put tiny shrubs on the ground that would sting him on the leg. The Prophet knew that the woman was doing it. So there came to a time when the Prophet would go to the masjid, there would be no there will be nothing on the ground, to hurt him. And he asked people that, what about the woman that used to pour some things on the ground when I walk? And they said, oh, the woman has been sick for a while. And the prophet said, where does she live? Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went to the woman's house with her. I noticed that the hurtful things that you place on the road for me, I've not seen them for a while now. And they told me that you are sick. That's why I came to visit you. The woman was like, really? You came to visit me? You're not angry. I was doing evil to you all the while. So you are not angry. You even came to say hello to me because I was sick. And because of that, the woman accepted Islam. That's a practical approach to the advice that Allah gave to the Prophet Muhammad. That is why Allah defined the Prophet, referred to him, you are of the best character. It takes character to do something. Person who has been doing hurtful things to you. Finally, if that person gets sick, what you'll be saying to yourself is, hey, finally, karma has caught up with that person. The Prophet did not say karma caught up with that person. The Prophet saw a human being that was sick and went to say hello to her and to greet her and pray for her. And with that, just with that, she turned into an ally by converting to Islam. The Prophet didn't have to quote any verse of the Quran to this woman. He didn't have to read anything to this woman. He didn't even preach to her. Just by that character, by that act of kindness, by that reciprocity with that which is better. Because he retaliated, but retaliated with that which is better. Now, I think there's idfa means pay. In the ayah, it says repel. Is this based on context? So idfa doesn't necessarily mean pay. It has different meanings, basically. So, and it depends on the context. So dafa'a, which is the asl, the base of the word, dafa'a means to ward something off, to ward something off. So to ward something off can be to pay. Like if you're paying debt, you're warding off the debt, right? So you're paying that debt. If you're paying for something, you're warding away debt. So to ward away something or to block something, it has meanings like that, but then it comes into it will depend on the context where it's being used. So if you're talking about money, then you say you're paying it. You won't say that you're repelling debt. You say you're paying debt, right? So that's where those meanings come. That's in translation, you have to, like it has to be suitable in translation. So again, when it's about money, you can say you are repelling debt. So you are paying debt or you're paying something. You can say you're repelling that thing. But if it is about something that is immaterial, so you can say you are paying that thing, right? You say you are repelling it. You can use pay evil with this, but repel evil, that's more appropriate and a more appropriate English word there. Again, this is a translation technique where you don't just use word for word. You have to find appropriate word that's closest to meaning to the Arabic word that you have. Now, so we know there are two forms of shaitan, right? And it's important to protect ourselves against both of them. And Allah has taught us how to protect ourselves against both forms. But why should we protect ourselves against shaitan? Why is it so important? Can't we find the middle ground with shaitan? We have to, does it have to continue like that? I mean, to be able to make deals with the shaitan. Some people make deals with the shaitan. I mean, we've heard stories, folklore. People make deals with the shaitan. Okay, you can calm down now. You can just let me do my thing. I mean, I can help the shaitan, and the shaitan can help me. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala warns us. Says, Ya bani Adam, O sons of Adam, لا يفتننكم الشيطان. لا يفتننكم الشيطان. Do not let the shaitan deceive you. كما أخرج أبويكم من الجنة. The way that he did, that he used to remove your forefathers from the Jannah. Do not let the shaitan deceive you, same way he did to your forefathers to get them out of the Jannah. What did he do to them in Jannah? Shaitan went to Prophet Adam and said to him, let me advise you. Like a true friend. He came like a true friend and spoke to him in a trustworthy manner. But he has no such plans. He has no good plans for you human beings at all. And he made it clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna shaytana lakum aduwu. Shaytan is your enemy. Allah that said, if a person does evil to you, repel that evil with that which is better. In this case, it's talking about Shaytan, that one, the main one, right? The main one. That Shaytan is your enemy, the one that you cannot see, is your enemy. But فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. See him as your enemy, nothing else. Do not get carried away. He can come to you smiling, he can bring flowers. Don't be carried away. Whatever form it takes to come to you, he is your sworn enemy. فَاتَّخِذُوهُ عَدُوًّا. إِنَّمَا يَدْعُهُ حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونُ مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ. He gathers his army, he gathers his people, so they will join him, Sa'ir, one of the hellfires. So he's gathering people, he's recruiting people, so that he will not be the only one, that they will join him in his torment of fire when he finally gets it. Don't be one of those that you. And how does he recruit? He recruits by lying to you, by deceiving you, by promising you things that are not true. The same way he promised Prophet Adam and his wife Hawa, after warning from Allah that everything in this garden belongs to you except this tree. Do not touch, don't go near it. And Shaitan said, Al adullukum ala shajaratil khuld. I tell you about a tree that will make you live forever. A tree that will give you all of eternity. You will never die. Allah didn't even tell Adam that anything about death. But Shaitan said, if you eat, you know why Allah said you should not go close to that tree? Because he knows that if you eat the fruit of that tree, you will never die. You will live forever like that. Adam got carried away. Greed. But from the suggestion of Shaitan. So Allah has made it clear. Shaitan is your enemy. Don't get carried away by the acts of Shaitan. Always seek refuge with Allah, and you cannot defeat Shaitan. See, he's an enemy. He's powerful. He can see you. He knows your weaknesses. He can suggest things to you. But you cannot defeat him by yourself. To defeat him, you have to go to the one that is even more powerful than Shaitan. So Shaitan has power, yes, but Allah is more powerful. So you have to always go to Allah. But Allah continues to warn us about Shaitan. He told us, فَبِعِزَّتِكَ لَأَغْوِيَنَّهُمْ أَجْمَعِينَ. When Shaitan made the pledge in front of Allah, that I will lead them astray. By all means, I will lead them astray. All of his children, that is, the offsprings of Adam. That's how bad it was between Shaitan and Adam. The Shaitan made a pledge in front of Allah that I will lead all of them, I will lead them astray. Illa ibadaka min umul mukhlasin, except your servants from amongst them. Your servants, those who are true to type, those who don't do back and forth, those who are standing straight, who are your true servants, I will not go near those ones. But everyone else, whether they worship you or they don't worship you, I will go to them, especially those who have doubts in their mind or those who are easily swayed. I will go, I will test them, and I will lead them astray with every gimmick that I have. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says to us, this is a pledge that Shaitan made in the presence of Allah. Allah is saying it to us, right? That, see, this is what Shaitan has said behind you. This is his aims and objectives. He has no good plans for you. So when he promises you money, it is not for your benefit. There's something else behind it. Don't believe anything that Shaitan tells you. Don't believe anything that Shaitan gives to you. And Allah said, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنِ. Whenever you are about to recite the Quran, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. Seek refuge with Allah from Shaitan, the accursed one. إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَهُ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. Because he has no power. He has no control. Remember, you cannot handle him yourselves. Allah says he has no power, no control upon those who believe in Allah. وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. Whom upon their Lord do they rely? All those who only rely solely on their Lord. The Shaitan will have no power over them. The only reason Shaitan has power over you is because you do not rely 100% on Allah. You still feel there's something else somewhere. If you rely solely on Allah, and when anything happens to you, the only thing that comes to your mind is not the first thing or the something that comes along the way. The only thing that comes to your mind is Allah. If Allah is your only source of reliance, the shaitan will not have power over it. That's what Allah said. إِنَّهُ لَيْسَ لَهُ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. He has no power, no control over those who believe, and upon their Lord do they rely. That is, and I've made this example before. When Prophet Musa والسلام, went to Fir'aun and he showed him his proof that he's a messenger of Allah by dropping a stick and it turned into a snake, Fir'aun said, This is magic, because what they knew was magic, right? Doing anything like that, that looks like magic anyways, right? But the source of power of magic is Shaitan. But the source of the power behind Musa's own is Allah. إنه ليس له سلطان على الذين آمنوا وعلى ربهم يتوكلون. He has no power over Musa, or Musa's power was beyond Shaitan's own, because Musa's reliance was upon Allah. Allah is the one that told him, that's your stick, that's your ordinary stick that you use to herd your sheep. I have put power inside that stick that if you drop it, it will turn into a live snake. That is the power of Allah. And Musa relied on that. He believed in it. So Musa's reliance on that, Musa did not go to any sorcerer that, hey, the Pharaoh has set dates for me to challenge the big magicians. Come and teach me some magic that I can use to reinforce myself. He tried to reinforce himself. In today's, let me relate it to something that happens to us in this our times. For example, someone falls sick, a Muslim who prays, Salat, alhamdulillah, it belongs to the community and all that. And then he falls sick, and the doctors have done everything. They can't even diagnose him. They don't even know what's wrong with him. They have discharged him, but he's still sick. They discharged him because they can't find anything wrong with him medically. And they didn't want him to continue incurring charges on the hospital bed or using the hospital facilities. Because again, medically, there's nothing wrong with him. But he's sick. He's getting leaner every day, even though he's eating. They have discharged him, he's back home, but he's still very sick. And then some pastor came to him. And the pastor said, listen, if you just come to our church, I can assure you, you will be healed. This is a Muslim that prays 5 times a day. He reads the Quran. He knows Allah. He believes in Allah. He's a believer. But remember, لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. He has no power over those who believe. But Allah does not stop there. He didn't just say anyone who believes, Satan will not have power over you. He says, وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. And upon their Lord do they rely. The moment you accept to go to that pastor's church to seek healing, you have ignored Allah. You have not relied solely upon Allah. Because the means of worship of the person that you have gone to differs from your own totally. This person is not on the path that your Lord has put you on. And you have been asked to rely solely on Allah. The moment that you go to that person, Shaitan has power over you. If he didn't have power over you before, the moment that you stop relying on Allah and you go to meet another person whose way is different from that of your Lord is Allah, right? Your Lord is Allah, the one that sent Muhammad. That is your Lord. His own Lord is the one that is 3 in 1. And then it happens to some other people. A Muslim, they're trying to have a child. They have done everything. IVF, you name it. They didn't have any other option. And someone said to them, listen, there's this Oshun Osogbo festival coming up. If I just take you to Oshun, before the end of the year, you will conceive. The moment you consider it, the moment you just believe it, you haven't even gone there. You just believe it. You have your faith and your reliance solely on Allah has shaken, Shaytan suddenly has control. This is all it needs. You don't even have to go there. But the moment you shake your reliance upon Allah, where you are now thinking there's something else beside Allah's power that can fix you, you have given Shaitan entrance. Because the promise of Allah is, لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ سُلْطَانٌ عَلَى الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَلَى رَبِّهِمْ يَتَوَكَّلُونَ. The promise of Allah is, it will never have power over you. It will not have his way with you, so long as you rely solely on Allah. So all he has to do is to make sure that you don't meet that condition of relying solely upon Allah. I mean, it's easy to believe. He has power over some people. He has caused them to not believe. No matter what you tell some people, they don't believe. Those ones, different case. But you, that you already believe, you have fulfilled condition one. It will prevent you from fulfilling condition two. If you're already fulfilling condition two, it will wage a war against you, put impediments in your way so that you will shake on condition number two. And then he has his way. Allah then continues and says, إِنَّمَا سُلْطَانُهُ عَلَى الَّذِينَ يَتَوَلَّوْنَهُ. It says his power, his control is over those who follow him. Shaitan has control over those who follow him. Let me tell, someone asked a question one time and says, those people who do money ritual, for real, they do money rituals and the money comes to them for real. The money ritual that they did, and they cut the head of someone, a live being, a human being. They cut a human being's head and they did some juju with it, and money started coming in. What is the relationship between the head that they cut off and the money? Money is printed in Nigeria, it's printed by the central bank. In the US, it's printed by the Federal Reserve. So, where is this money coming from, and how does it relate to the head? To the person. The head that was cut off, that is used for that money ritual, has nothing to do with that money. The only thing that the head has, that Shaitan has convinced you to commit an atrocity. He's trying to get you so far away from Allah that no matter how hard you try, if you change your mind tomorrow, you still will not find your way back. He will try to get you so deep, 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 deep into the woods that if you wake up tomorrow, you can't change your mind. Because it's possible you wake up tomorrow and like, oh, I don't want to do this again, but you are too far gone. So cut a human being's head, first of all, it's an abomination. Allah condemns taking a life. Because life that you cannot give, you take it. Killing the person is enough to get you far away from Allah. But that's not all. He asks you to cut the person's head and then put your belief in that cutting, that it is that head that is going to bring you provision, when indeed it is Allah that brings provision. That is shirk. So he has caused you to commit shirk, and the highest form of sin that you can commit as a human being is shirk. It is the only form of sin that Allah guaranteed He will not forgive. Allah can forgive the person who commits shirk, as long as the person is still alive. But as soon as the person dies, there's no way for that person. So that is what Shaitan will target. Allah is a forgiving God. Everything that Shaitan does, he is going to do it to sustain it to the moment you die. He has no control over your death, because your death is with Allah. It is written, it's a decree, it is guaranteed. Nothing cannot fast forward it, cannot delay it. What he can do, stand by you, committing the hardest of sins that Allah will not forgive. He knows that Allah has promised He will not forgive shirk. So his greatest achievement is, once he has a hold on you, move you towards committing shirk, and then keep you on it till death comes to you. That one is a good investment for him. So I just brought that about money rituals because a lot of people ask that question. Who do money rituals? No. Shaitan is just drawing them farther away from Allah, causing them to commit such atrocities that takes them far, far, far away, that they don't find their way back to Allah's forgiveness. So, at what point do we say A'udhu billahi minash shaitan. At what point do we seek refuge from Allah? From Allah? Do we seek refuge with Allah from shaitan? We do it every time. Like Allah has advised the Prophet all the time. Again, there's shaitan amongst humans, ones amongst humans. When they do evil towards you, Allah says the way to conquer those ones that you return the favor, but with that which is better. Someone says bad thing to you, you say a good thing to that person. Someone acts wrongly to you, you act right to that person. When they go low, you go high. That's how you defeat the shaitan amongst human beings. The shaitan amongst the jinns, the ones that you cannot see, Allah said, you cannot handle those ones. You have no power over those ones. Refuge with me. It's narrated that one day, two men were fighting. And they dragged themselves to the Prophet. One of them was seething through the teeth. He was so angry. You know, there are some people when they get angry, their face will turn red. Some people, when they are angry, they begin to cry. This man was angry. His nose was getting bigger because of that anger. His nose was getting enlarged from anger, as angry as he is in front of the Prophet. And the Prophet said, there's something that if you said it right now, everything will come down in your body. That is, whatever is raging within you will relax. And he said, what is that? Prophet said, if only you would say, because if you say it, now you have invoked the one that is more powerful than Shaitan, you will run away. Because you have run to Allah, the most powerful one, like a child. Someone wants to beat the child, and the child runs to the father and holds onto the father. You know, in Yoruba, they say, if you beat that child, it's like you're beating that adult, or you're beating that father. So even if you want to beat that child, you wait until he leaves the father's side or the adult side. But you cannot touch that child as long as he's holding on to that adult person, because he's seeking refuge with that adult person. So in the case of Shaitan, Shaitan is trying to deal with you. Maybe he's trying to whisper to you. Shaitan's whisper alone is enough. He doesn't have to touch you or do. His whisper is harmful enough. It can change your mind, make you do things that you never thought you were capable of, just by whispering at you. Shaitan's breath upon you alone, he's not whispering, it's just breathing, just blowing air at you is dangerous for you. Enough. Shaitan's breathing close to you is dangerous. It's too dangerous. So there are three. You can breathe close to you, like it's too close to you that his breathing is even touching you. That's dangerous. Then it can blow at you. That blowing is dangerous for you. Then the highest one is in whispering into your ears. That goes straight into your mind. That takes control of your actions. That suggests things to you, things that are abominations, things that are forbidden by Allah. Shaitan can suggest them to you. That's why the Prophet Muhammad is recorded to always say, أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم من الشيطان الرجيم من همزه ونفثه ونفخه. I seek refuge with Allah, the all-hearing, the all-knowing, from the suggestions of Shaitan, from the blowings of Shaitan, from the breathing of Shaitan. I don't want to feel his breathing. Don't let him get close enough to breathe at me. Don't let him get close enough to blow at me. Don't let him get close enough to me to whisper into my ears, to suggest things. Tell me that I have heard that Allah said the way to deal with human shaitan is to do better towards them, even when they are doing bad towards me. Some will suggest to you, I used to, don't you know that is weak? How can you let him go away, get away with that? How can you talk to you like that? Don't you know you can deal with them and slap them and send someone to break their legs and something? That's shaitan. So the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, always seeks refuge with Allah, like Allah advised him, and by extension advised us to seek refuge with him. Then Allah said, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. Whenever you recite the Quran, that is take refuge with Allah. Mina shaitan rajim, from shaitan the accursed. Because when you're reading the Quran, you're reading the words of Allah. You want to understand it. Shaitan can confuse you. People have read the Quran and they have gotten lost from reading. They got lost by reading the words of Allah. Because Shaitan confused them by the meanings. They were translating. Someone was suggesting the wrong translation in their head. Instead of them to find guidance, as much as they read, they're just going farther astray from reading. So before you start reading, you have to seek refuge with Allah. So Shaitan doesn't have power over you while you read. So that if Shaitan is out of the equation while you're reading the Quran, then you know for sure that it's just you and Allah. So before you begin, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitan. There are different ways that the invocation of the ta'weez, just the saying A'udhu Billah, is called ta'weez. It's said in different ways. The Prophet has been heard saying A'udhu Billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Some people have also said A'udhu Billahi Sami' al-Alim minash shaitanir rajim. Can also be A'udhu Billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Inna Allah huwa as-Sami' al-Alim. Can also be Asta'izu billahi minash shaitan. All of them still seeking refuge with Allah from the accursed shaitan. And again, it is important that we seek refuge from Allah from shaitan because one, he is our arch enemy. There's no truce, no way that we can reach any friendly agreement with him. There's no way we turn him enmity to friendship ever. It's not going to happen. And two, we don't have power over him because he can see us from where we cannot see him. He's invisible to us, but we're visible. Those are weaknesses. The only way that we can defeat Shaitan is to seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the only way that he has no power over us, that we keep our faith with Allah and that we rely solely 100% with Allah, we do not fall into Satan of shaking our faith in Allah or our reliance in Him by thinking there's any power, any other power, or any other thing that can save us but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We'll stop here today and continue next week, Thursday. فسبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك أنا ربك رب العزة عما يصفون سلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب